Tell me if this sounds familiar. A big to-do list that seems to only get longer, feeling like you've worked all day, but you've got nothing done, and you're working super, super hard on your business and you're making money, but you're not actually enjoying your life. If you feel like this, I felt exactly this same way too, and we're gonna get through it together. Okay, so this is why most online business owners are unhappy, and I'm going to show you what I did to get out of that. And also, hopefully, obviously, you can learn from what I did and implement that for yourself. Now, be prepared. You might have to make some changes in the way that you work. You might have to make some changes in the way that your business is run, but it doesn't mean that it has to impact your income. And sometimes it can even increase your income. Over time, it will definitely increase your income, but immediately, it might feel a little bit rocky, but that is how everything is. You put in the work and it's better coming out on the other side. So the big thing here, the big issue is that the work that you're doing is just busy and distracted work. It's not actually quality work. And so if you're spending 16 hours a day of busy and distracted work, obviously that's excessive and highly unrealistic. I did 14 to 16 hour days for like 2 weeks, and then I was like very, very burnt out. So that is very hard to do. But let's say, you're working 12-hour days, which is crazy. And once again, I've had that season too. You're working 12-hour days and you are just doing busy and distracted work the whole time. So for 12 hours a day, you're doing busy and distracted work, which means that the real work that you're only getting done is probably about 4 to 8 hours, right? Somewhere in that range. Now, if we can get super, super locked in and just actually do stuff that needs to get done, if the work that we're doing is not distracted work, and then we also can eliminate the busy work, we can bring that 12 hours down to 4 hours. And so the best way to do that, and the first way that we're going to do that, is by using timeframes, constraints, and projects. And so realistically, I only work like 3 to 4 hours a day of deep work stuff. And then, I'm doing other stuff like living my life, responding to my one-on-one clients' messages that they send me, reading, thinking, spending time with people, that kind of a thing. And so if you don't want your business to consume your life, you have to stop it. Because if you don't put your foot down, it won't just happen. It won't just happen. Your business won't just get better. The more money you make, if you continue to make the money in a way that is not conducive to your success in a way that you want to live your life, it's just going to get worse. The more money you make, the more hours you're going to work, the more people that you're going to be responsible for. It is not going to get better unless you actively make a decision to make it better. So the first thing that we want to do here is we want to work on time frames, constraints, and projects, right? So working with time frames. I'll give you a couple examples. So like a bad example would be, and this is something that I used to do, is when I was posting on social media, and let's say I was on Instagram and I was posting on Instagram, I would then subconsciously and like automatically click that explore button, and I would be on that explore page for between 5 and sometimes even up to 20 minutes. That right there is just literally distracted work. Like I got nothing productive done during that. Even if I got an idea for content or whatever. Okay, fine. I already have all the ideas for content in my head. I already have my clients asking me questions, and those questions I can turn into content. I don't need to go find ideas, right? And so the problem with that is that I subconsciously disguised it as I'm looking for ideas, when in reality it was just a distraction. And it took me 5 minutes to come up with the caption and to post things and to make sure that it looked good and whatever. But then I would spend an extra 5 to 20 minutes on that Instagram Explore page, and that is not work, right? So a 5-minute task realistically probably even less, 2 minutes to post something would take me 7 to 20 minutes when it should have taken me 2 minutes, right? And so that's the type of thing that we have to be careful for, that we have to watch out for. And as online business owners, a lot of times our stuff that we're doing, the way that we make money is tied to social media, is tied to the internet. And the internet and social media are the biggest distractions. So we can't be doing this distracted type of work. And then if we're doing something and we're being productive and we're in the flow state and we're doing something and then we get distracted, that completely interrupts our flow state. And that is really, really bad. A good example of using time frames, so that's a bad example. Good example of using time frames, constraints, and projects is finishing a project and then using food as a reward. I do this every single day. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna knock this thing out, and then I'm gonna go get, a snack. Like I just did that literally right before I filmed this. I wanted to finish getting everything ready for this, getting the little guidelines that I have for it, the little bullet points here that I want to make sure I hit and I touch on. I want to get all that bullet points all written out and then go have a snack. And I just had some dates and butter, organic dates and grass-fed butter. If you haven't tried it, highly recommend. Very good. So with that, finish a project and then have a reward. And then kind of in the same category would be like to schedule social events or phone calls or something like that, phone calls with friends, family, etc., to force you to get the work done in a certain period of time. Because I'm sure you've heard it before. I'm going to butcher this saying, but it's the work that you do takes the time that you allow it to take. Like the work will fill up the time that you allow for it, basically. So if you have 30 minutes to get something done, you will get it done in 30 minutes. But if that same task, you give yourself 2 hours, it will take you 2 hours to get it done. And we can argue that, we can say whatever counter opinion that we have, but at the end of the day, that is fact. That is fact. There is a minimum viable time that thing takes to get done. I'm not saying if it's a 30-minute task, we can get it done in 2 minutes because it actually takes 30 minutes. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if it's a 30-minute task, it should take 30 minutes. It should not take 2 hours. And so what you do is you schedule social events, you schedule going out with your friends, you schedule a phone call with a family member or a friend or something. Schedule your personal life as well as your business life, because then what happens is that you have these deadlines and these time frames and these things that you have to get done in this time, and then you're actually scheduling and allowing for yourself to live life, right? We schedule meetings and we schedule getting stuff done, or we schedule I have to go to the DMV in like a week, so I have that on my schedule, right, on my calendar. But we don't schedule for personal things. And so I started doing that, probably a year ago. I started scheduling personal things into my calendar and making a point to like not just say, oh, let's hang out someday. I'd be like, okay, let's actually get this in the calendar, because then it gave me deadlines and time frames to get stuff done. And then I get stuff done and I don't just end up sitting on my computer alone in my apartment working, and then I'm just like all by myself. That sucks. I've been there. I've done that. And that is not a good way to live life. So that is how we can use time frames, constraints, and then projects is just work on things on a project basis, right? So don't bounce around between different things. Just pick one thing, pick one task, pick one project, get that done, and then move on to the next thing. Get that project finished and then reward yourself. Don't bounce around between different things. It is a horrible way to work. You will lose focus and it will take forever. So don't do that. I used to do that. That is really, really bad. Then we have distractions. So like I said, that's kind of dealing what we just went over, how to use timeframes, constraints, and projects. That's kind of how to deal with the way in which we're working and our focus. And working more with our focus is now coming into distractions. So if you didn't know, it literally takes physical and mental energy to battle your distractions. And so you can either constantly be distracted and constantly be in a battle of distraction by something as simple as having, if I had my phone here on my desk, which I don't, it's over there across the room. If I had my phone and it's on silent, so it doesn't bother me. If I had my phone here on my desk, I couldn't even tell you how many times I would pick it up just to look at random crap that has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing, right? Or I get an email and I have to look at the email and it's from, my my meat supplier telling me that they have sale on some sort of meat, and I'm like, oh, and then I go look through the meat and then I'm like, what am I doing? This is crazy. What am I doing? I'm wasting so much time. And once again, it's like that what takes 2-minute task turns into a 20-minute thing, which is like I said, posting on social media earlier. It's the same thing. I'm in the middle of something and I get an email and then I get sidetracked for 5 minutes. It's horrible. So don't do that. Put your phone across the room on silent. And so even though it's still in the room, I still have to walk all the way over there, a couple steps, to go get it. But that is a huge, huge example of something simple that you can do. And also, another thing on your computer, most of us as online business owners, I don't think you could do it without a computer unless you're just like a TikTok creator and you had a phone and that was it. But a lot of us will multitask and have different screens open at the same time, right? We'll have, I'm on a Mac, so it'll like have the screen go like 3/4 and then it'll have a bunch of tabs open on the side for the different apps that I'm using. And gosh, that's so horrible. If I need to focus on something, that is the worst thing that you can have, because then you think of something and then you have to go do something. Then you go, oh, I wonder if that person messaged me back on whatever. And then you go look at that. Make whatever you're working on full screen, right? I have friends that use multiple screens, 2 or 3 screens, and that works really well for them, and that's fine. But I get really, really distracted. So I have one screen and I make whatever I'm working on full screen. So when I am writing, when I am working on a project, typically it's writing, it is full screen, and that is the only thing that I'm paying attention to. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of an example of how we can start removing distractions from our life. And when we come to think of it, when we actually really look at it, we actually realize that these distractions don't actually benefit us in any way. Like, a lot of these distractions are very negative, the actual things that we're doing. So I wrote this the other day. You might have seen it on Instagram or Twitter or on community post here. But I thought it was really good and it needed to be repeated because a lot of people need to hear this. So this is what I wrote. 24K in 1 week, 9K in 1 day. I've hit these numbers with my online business. But here's the problem. As online entrepreneurs, we always like to talk about the big goals we're striving for or the new tactics we are implementing. But I want to shake up the conversation. What are you willing to give up right now so you can achieve those goals? It doesn't mean you have to give it up forever, but just for this season while you're pursuing your goal. Because we only have 24 hours, so something needs to be sacrificed. I'm giving up winding down at night with YouTube/TV entertainment, and will instead be reading, writing, or socializing. I determined that YouTube/TV entertainment does not move me closer to my goals. But reading, writing, or socializing does move me closer to my personal and business goals for this season of life that I'm in. So I'm curious, what are you giving up right now? And so that's what I want to challenge you right now. What are you giving up? What are you going to give up is something that doesn't benefit you in your personal or your business life and is just a complete distraction and waste of time. And it's something that you know that you need to get rid of, and you just haven't done it because you're addicted, because you're attached, because of whatever. You just have to get rid of it. Because if you're trying to do great things with your personal life and with your life and with your business and your life working together and your business being your life business, that means that you have to work on yourself as well and not just your business. And so, for example, I tweeted that like 2 days ago or something, And so it's like day 2 of no longer winding down at night with YouTube/TV entertainment. And I mean, guys, it would be like hours of YouTube a day. And now it's like maybe 15 minutes, like probably 15 to 30 minutes if you averaged it out over the week per day. So, but I'm very intentional with it. I don't just watch stuff to watch stuff. I'm very intentional. Like I only watch something if I'm trying to solve a problem, and that's it. Even though I used it before for, yeah, but I'm learning this thing, and it's like, okay, well, is the thing that I'm learning actually, I'm learning this business concept. Okay, well, is the business concept immediately going to be applicable to what I need right now? Or am I just watching this because I might need this in the future? And 90% of the time I'm watching this because I might need to know this in the future. If I'm actively trying to solve a problem and I'm actually actively looking for a solution, then I don't mind watching YouTube to try to find that solution, right? Whether it's fixing something on my car or fixing something in my business. That's how I've learned everything, is YouTube and trial and error. So if you're actively searching for something to fix in your business or in your personal life, or you're trying to learn something, that is fine. But when we're just learning to learn because we're learning and that's our addiction, that's not a good thing. And we have to just cut it immediately. Like there's no like slowly rolling it out. Like you just got to cut it. And so, for example, like I said, last night was like the second night of me doing that. But last night, instead of watching something, I was on the phone with my mom for like an hour, and then I read for like 20, 30 minutes, and then I went to bed. And that was great. And I slept so good. And like, it's just so much better for you, right? Better for your relationships, better for you, better for your quality of sleep. And that's just the main thing that was sucking up my time and was an excuse that I was using. And so with that, I'm curious, what is it that you are willing to give up right now in pursuit of a better life and a better business? And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about here, so the first thing was using timeframes, constraints, and working on a project basis. The second thing was getting rid of distractions and stop using the physical and mental energy that it takes to battle distractions and just cut them so you have more physical and mental energy to do other things that actually help you instead of battling distractions. Just get rid of them. And then the last thing that we have here is leveraged work. So that's using one input or doing one input and getting multiple outputs from that. And so the question that I have for you with this, before I explain it, and I want you to think about this before I explain it, is if you only had one input per day, what would you do? So for me, my input on a, for the most part, daily basis right now is filming and writing. They kind of go together, right? Because I wrote little guideline bullet points of stuff that I wanted to talk about in this video. And that turns into a YouTube video, which obviously I have to film it, right? So I'm not doing just writing, but it's the same thing. It's one input for me, right? And so I write some guidelines, and then I film a YouTube video. And so then now I have some good basic bullet pointed copy that I can use and that I'm going to hold on to and come back to that. Then I have a YouTube video that I can use, that I can put on YouTube, that is evergreen, that is something that will be on there and people can watch for years to come. And then with this writing that I have done, I can polish it up, I can trim it up, I can make it shorter, and I can turn it into a Instagram caption, a Twitter post, a LinkedIn post, a what else? Facebook post. I don't even know. Multiple different things, right? And so then that becomes my one input that I have, which is coming up with an idea, breaking down the idea, and that takes me, 1 to 2 hours. And then now I have these guidelines that I can then film a YouTube video. And then also everything else that I post on these different platforms stems from this as well. And as long as I do that, I have one input that gives me multiple outputs. So I'm not thinking about, what should I be posting on Instagram today? What should I post on Facebook today? Oh, I got to write something for Facebook, and then I got to film a reel for Instagram. And right now I changed up my Instagram strategy a little bit. So I'm putting the value in the captions and just doing lifestyle videos and pictures rather than actually filming talking heads, which is like what I used to do. So, but people get caught up in like I got to do this for this thing, and I got to do this for this thing, and it's so many different things. And if we really just focus on one input that gives us multiple outputs, that is super leveraged, and it takes very, very little time. And then we just have one focus for that day. If we can go like, look, if I can do this one thing, and I can get this one thing done, and I can focus on this one thing and do it so good that is what is the driver behind my business. That is every day, if I can just do this one thing, that will bring me clients and customers and get everything that I need done for that day. And then the rest of the time I can focus on actually enjoying my life and actually just I'm making this money from my online business, but I can't spend it or enjoy it, or I don't have any friends because I'm just working 16 hours a day. But in reality, I'm just distracted and doing pointless busy work that I don't have to do, and I'm getting distracted with all these different things, and my relationships with my friends and family are not great because I tell them that I'm working all the time, but in reality I'm just doing this BS work that isn't actually real work. What if we could just scrape all that away? And what if we could just focus on this one daily input that we need to do? Or what if we could use other leverage points like ads, right? I made hundreds of thousands of dollars by using Facebook and Instagram ads. And I had to do an input. I had to make the ad. I had to, test them and make sure that they were still running good. But it's kind of like you set it up and then it runs and you make money, right? So it's one input, and you have to put other inputs as paying money to push the ad. But it's one input, and you're getting outputs for it for a long time, right? Now I'm a little bit more focused on organic because I want to challenge myself with doing organic, because I've done organic in the past. I've gotten millions of views, but I only made a couple $1,000s off of it. And I was like, something is not right here. And then I got into ads. And then with ads, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars by using ads. And so that worked really well. And then I kind of got, this is the story of an online business owner, right? Just jumping back and forth between different things and shiny object syndrome. But then I got allured by organic again. And I'm like, man, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm making money with ads, but I'm tired of spending money on ads and just the challenges and the upkeep and all that stuff with that. And I really want to challenge myself and see if I've still got it with the organic, and not like trying to get a bunch of views and go viral and stuff. Because the people who creators have millions of followers, like specifically on like TikTok, which you have millions of followers on TikTok and you're making $5,000 a month, maybe. Like, it's so bad. So it's not about that. It's about the quality of the inputs in which you're doing. So I got a little off on a tangent there, but that's what I've been working on lately, is going from organic to ads and then back to organic. And so with all that said, your daily input can be ads. Your daily input can be organic. Your daily input can be multiple different things, or can be a variety of different things, but you want one daily input. Because if you just have one thing to focus on and you do it every single day, you're going to get really good at it, and you're going to figure out systems and ways to make it take less time. You're going to figure out ways to make more money from it. You're going to figure out more ways to get more inputs from that one single input, and it's just going to compound over time. And then you have a highly, highly effective singular daily input, and that's all you need to focus on. And then your business is enjoyable and you love what you're doing and you're making more money and you can actually enjoy your life. So why are we doing busy work? Why are we getting distracted? Why are we chasing new opportunities? Why are we doing this thing? Why are we having these big to-do lists that keep seeming to get longer? Why are we feeling like we're working all day but not getting anything done? Why are we working super hard in our business and making money but not actually enjoying our life? That is why. Because we're not working in time frames, constraints, and project basis. We're getting distracted and doing distracted work and busy work. And we're not doing leveraged work where we can have one input and get multiple outputs. So I hope that message makes you a lot of money and helps you enjoy your life. I have a training down below. It'll take you to another YouTube video. I did a 1-hour masterclass on how I made my first $100,000 online, and obviously use that system to make multiple six figures online. But it is kind of how I got started with making my first 100,000. So trying to make your first or next 100,000 online, and do all of the things that I just told you, how to actually enjoy your life while building an online business that you love. That's what it's all about. That's what my channel is all about. So make sure to subscribe if you're into that, and make sure to check out that training below. I'll just take you to another YouTube video that I have. So I'll see you tomorrow.